Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie comic interview. It's your Caped Crusader, Cody, and we are keeping it geekly with our good friend, Edwin Decastro. Welcome, Edwin. How are you doing? How's your night going, man?
It's been great. Earlier I was working, work kind of sucks always, but hey, what are you gonna do? Other than that, this is the highlight of my day. I'm happy to be here.
Dude, let's go, my man. So Edwin right now is running an awesome Kickstarter about a really unique take on a comic. I don't know how many times this has been done, if this might be the first or where you drew the inspiration from, but he has written a comic that is one story but two different types of artwork, and it was really unique. I had the opportunity to read both, and the story is amazing, and it's just insane to see the different perspective that the artist had and the takes they had. I mean, so let's just start breaking down the first part, and then we'll dive into your Kickstarter a little bit. So first things first, I mean, what drove you to want to do a story about a Grim Reaper, and let alone one that is kind of like, it was such a, like, the way you were able to give the Grim Reaper personality to make the Grim Reaper seem more human and more likable was done in such like a unique way that I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Thank you, I appreciate it. The inspiration comes from Death Note, the anime. There's this one specific scene that always just kind of struck out to me. It's when Light is asking Ryuk, the Shinigami, about like their existence in life, like what's your purpose? And in that lore, they can see the lifespan of someone above their head when they just look at them. So he basically says like, oh, I don't really remember. Like, we just continue to kill people so we live immortal, because when they kill someone, their remaining lifespan goes on to them. So that's how they stay immortal. So I don't know, for me, that kind of always struck a chord in me. Like, if they can see someone's lifespan, they must have been like, I guess, your traditional Grim Reapers, right? Like, they know when someone's going to die. So maybe that's when they know to write their name in the book or something. I don't know. It led through a rabbit hole that I just always thought of. And while we were in the pandemic, I was doing Postmates around the time to, make some money. I'd be waiting for food or at red lights, and just thoughts would come in my head where I would like, oh, that's a good idea. I have to write that down. And yeah, I just kept, more ideas kept coming. I put them all together, and Lost Between the Worlds is how we got here.
Hey, we are going live on Instagram for the first time. We have Dismay Comics and Dan O'Might in the chat over on Instagram. Dan Price, Dismay Comics over on YouTube as well. Welcome, you guys. I appreciate that. We are keeping it geekly on every major platform. Man, I just love how easy that just works in. So let's go ahead and start breaking down Gwen and everything. You made a really interesting choice to start her off with a dagger as opposed to the traditional scythe. What was kind of your direction and your method for doing that?
So I did a lot of research on different gods of death from different mythologies and cultures and religions. And there's this thing called gall, where it's a little golden liquid that's dropped from a sword inside someone's mouth. And that's what ends up killing them. So I kind of took that idea, and instead of using a sword, I turned it into a dagger because I felt it was more fitting for the character. And yeah, that's basically where the inspiration for that came from. So the scythe, of course, is, you got to have a scythe if you're a Grim Reaper, right?
Yeah. So what exactly happens during that process? Because, I mean, the way it was animated was really, like, beautifully done. But just, like, I guess to explain it to our audio listeners, kind of just the process of what happens when that the liquid hits their mouth, and then, like, their soul kind of is just, like, taken from their body, it looked like.
Yeah, so basically it's exactly what it looks like. When the soul or the drop hits their being inside, you want to call it like essentially the soul. Yeah, the soul is what makes the human, right? So yeah, once it hits your soul, it kind of rises out, and she at that point can collect it and take it to the afterlife. Like I said, I did a lot of research on these kinds of things, even though now my mind is blanking on which exact god does this. I think it's Thanatos. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the idea of it.
And for anyone that is interested, here is the Kickstarter for the current book that he's running. We're going to be talking about that in just a little bit, but we are painting the picture before we dive into it so you guys have a good idea of what we're getting into. So I just overall, like, I love the sense of direction you went with the first book. We started off with a rock concert of the Grateful Dead. I thought that was a nice little tribute. And it was funny because Gwen was interrupted and she had to go take someone out, and come to find out it's someone from the band. The way they were taken out, though, was so awesome. I mean, you kind of focused on the driver being kind of like an alcoholic, drunk driving DUI, and then just getting smashed and blindsided. What was your reasoning for taking him out that way?
So there's something about that I can't say yet for spoiler reasons, but I did want to kind of just show that, like, oh, these guys aren't perfect. They're kind of like your average people. Like, you know, nothing, it's a good thing, but there's so many people around that age that do drinking and driving, and sometimes you gotta pay the consequences, right? Like I said, there's a little bit more to it story-wise, but the thing about the band that I wanted to do is that I'm a big fan of Guitar Hero and Rock Band. And in the early days of Guitar Hero, you would always see the same band in the background playing like every song. So I was like, yo, this gotta be like the greatest band ever, right? So I kind of wanted to pay an homage to them. And that's why they have that line like, oh, we're the greatest cover band out there, you know? Yeah.
So why Grateful Dead, though? Was that the name of the Guitar Hero band?
No, they didn't have a name. I mean, I suppose their name was whatever you wanted to give them because you would pick the name. But I just chose that name just because I am a fan of the band. I also thought it was very fitting. And it's going to be something that runs with the theme. Like, you know, sometimes it's not always bad to pass on. There's good things about death, you know. Sometimes it's good to be grateful.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And we get to see Gwynn really develop a lot of personality towards, I guess, the middle. The middle of it, she's done so many, like, you know, so many souls. At that point, she's getting tired of it. What drove you to kind of want to give her that sort of personality? As you know, because whenever I picture a Grim Reaper, I picture the Scythe, I picture them just coming for you, killing you, really not having too much compassion at all. But then we kind of get to see a different side of her, and I thought that was a really unique spin on it. It's
something that kind of happened organically, whereas I was trying to come up with the concept of everything. I knew I wanted to use Grim Reapers, but I didn't know in what context. I was like, should they compete over the souls? Is it like a job, you know? I kind of went with the job. And then I wanted to give her some realistic touches. So I was like, well, some people do their job and they might do it well, but they're not exactly happy, especially if it's like a really busy day, you know? So yeah, I just kind of wanted to give her that realistic edge to her.
So she uses a really unique device as well. It looks like I can't pronounce the name. It looks like a disc. What is that? And what was your driving force behind that as well? I mean, because that's like your main logo, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to resemble kind of like a pocket watch. That's why like she's always pulling it out like one. She also uses it like a compass. It kind of guides her, and it can. I was kind of going with the little DBZ influence there with the
Dragon Ball radar.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's go, dude.
And it shows all this different stuff. But yeah, again, going with the whole theme of different gods of death, I named it the Banshee because there's such a thing as a Banshee that screams. So that's why I make it shriek when it has like, you know, it's telling her, hey, go do your job. So yeah, it's kind of a play on the whole Banshee thing.
And yeah, it leads her to the interesting encounter where she went to kill someone, but it wasn't the person she was looking for. So that kind of put her in this big debacle. And I thought that was a really interesting move too. Why'd she decide to take him to a bar?
She says it's like one of those things she kind of does. It's like, because she says normally people can't see her. So when she's about to kill someone, she's confident that they won't see her. It's kind of a flaw of hers, of course. You should always keep that mantle up if you can, right? But yeah, she gets caught, and as kind of a little thing of like, all right, dude, I'm about to take your soul, but let's kind of have one little chat, you know, one drink, final farewell type of thing. So yeah, it's kind of like I'm gonna have my 15-minute break. You're gonna have your final farewell drink. Have a nice little talk. So yeah, I kind of viewed it like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't look like she ends up killing him though. She leaves like halfway through and just leaves him there to kind of just chill. Is he like stuck in limbo?
See, the thing about that is with the Banshee, she can tell where you are. So she's not worried about him leaving, but he does bring up this whole thing of like, well, I have a dissociative identity disorder. The guy you're looking for is not the one in control right now. So it brings up this kind of morality question where, well, if he really thinks he's a different person, why does that person deserve to die? It
and that was the loophole,
right? Exactly.
Yeah, that was
So she's kind of like, huh, I've never had someone try this. This is interesting. Let me go ask Pops, you know, her boss, the boss of the Reapers. So yeah, she's like, yo, hold on for a sec, because again, if he tries to leave, she can find him. She's not worried about that. So like you said, he kind of is stuck in limbo, but not literal limbo. He's still on Earth.
And when she meets Pop, she gets, it was really interesting dialogue, but I mean, at the end of it, that's when she gets her scythe, and it's a pretty brutal looking scythe, and nicknamed the Grateful Dead. I mean, rightfully so. I thought that was a nice little touch. But the most insane part of this is there's another book that goes with this. This is the exact same story with different art to it. And it was like a whole different like point of view, like perspective, like the way each artist was able to, like, I guess, relay their idea of what you were trying to portray was like uniquely different between the two. I mean, wow. Like, what was your reasoning behind that? Like, what drove you to want to do that instead of, I guess, like try to do like issue 1 and issue 2 like back to back?
I'm a firm believer of happy accidents and just that things happen for a reason. So that's one of those, like, happy accident happens for a reason. The funny part is the kind of more cartoony style, the one with the Beatles cover, that was actually the original version. There was not even planned a second version at all. But what happened was, about a month into starting the project, the artist who does that version, his name is Mac, he, for like a good 3-4 weeks, we weren't communicating. Like, he wasn't responding to messages. I didn't know what was going on. I was kind of starting to get worried, honestly. I was like, man, am I going to have to find like a new artist? I did start
in the middle of it, right? Like, holy crap.
Yeah, like a month in. But to be fair, he had only done at that point like 4 or 5 pages. So I was like, okay, it's not that bad of a loss if I have to completely start over. So I looked for another artist. I had found an artist. I found the colorist, the letter, because Mac's version, he did everything. Credit to him. He did everything. But yeah, as the second team started rolling, Mac finally messaged me back, and he told me that he had a health issue, that he was so sorry, that's why he wasn't responding. And I was like, all right, dude, I get it, you know? But now I have two issues of the same thing going on. So I was like, do I stop one? You know what? Why not have both going? Would be something unique. Like, I've never really seen people do that. You always hear about variant covers, but how about variant issues? And then the idea would be for every issue to have a different artist come in and do it their way, you know? I thought that was a really cool idea. But we sort of scaled things. No, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is like one of the most like morally like right things I've heard in such a long time. Like, by all means, you could have just not like went with him, and I think 95% of the people out there would have like been like, I understand you didn't, you know, it was kind of like a wash on both ends. You know, he slipped up on not communicating, even though he was ill and you were understanding, that was still kind of on his end. And you had to go with the ship. You had to keep the ship afloat, and you had to do your own thing, and you did do your own thing. And for you to kind of be like, yeah, dude, let's keep doing what you're doing. Like, I gotta give you kudos on that, because like that's a whole nother project you're financially backing, you know. That's really cool of you, man.
It caused some issues, I'm not gonna lie, but in the end we made it work. I think it was worth it. And I was gonna say, like, for the second issue, we're kind of scaling it back a little, just because I have a baby coming in like 3-4 weeks. So
congratulations.
I didn't want to, yeah, thank you. I just didn't want to have so much on my plate, but the idea is not like completely stopped. We do want to keep it going. So like, maybe with issue 3, it'll be something added or something in between. Who knows? But I do want to keep the idea alive.
So, congratulations. Are you having a boy or girl? You allowed to say?
It's a girl, yeah.
Gwen?
We're naming her Melina.
Oh, hey, the Elden Ring, right?
Actually, it's not necessarily inspired by anything, but the spelling is inspired by Mortal Kombat. Like, I do want it to spell like Melina from Mortal Kombat.
Okay, yeah. Hey, congratulations, man. My first was a girl, and let me tell you, they wrap you around their pinky like no other. It's like anything they want. It's like, all right, fine. And I know, like, starting out, you're like, I won't be that dad, but it's so hard not to, you know, with the big puppy eyes and everything. Yeah. So, man, let's go ahead. Let's start breaking down your Kickstarter. So, for this next issue, where do we see, first of all, Gwen, she's obviously a big part of it, right? So where do we see her transitioning from where you first started to this issue now?
So it picks up right where we left off. She basically, first page is back at the bar, and the bar's wasted. She's like, what the hell's going on here? And boom, it's like action after that. It's like, where's this Dospe guy? Oh, there's a corpse over here, screams over there. Like, what's going? So it's kind of frenetic at first. But yeah, we pick up right where we left off.
See, I had a feeling about him. I had a feeling there's something about this guy that we weren't getting all of it right in the beginning, and it's just it's such a crazy turn from the first issue as well, like going on that direction. So let's go ahead. Let's start. You want to start breaking down the Kickstarter?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll dive into the guts of it, dive into the tiers, and start breaking down this next one. I'm really excited, man. Before we really dive into it, let's just talk kind of about how it was working between two teams. I mean, the first issue was just a one-man team, and the next one was just a multi-person team. Like, the way you had to give directions and guidance, like, how much of a difference was it?
So early on, the second team, the what ended up becoming the main version, and the bonus version, I'm gonna call the Beatles version, the cartoony one. They were going off of the bonus version because there was more content there. So they were kind of using it as a model. But then at one point, because it's just one guy doing that version as opposed to 3 people, they caught up and started doing it faster. So at that point, there was more differences. And some of them I told them to do, some of them they kind of just took artistic liberty, but they worked off the same script. And I basically encouraged it. I was like, yeah, let's not go crazy, but let's do some differences here. That's the whole point. I like the idea of having it like alternate realities in a way. Like, it's the same story, but something may happen differently. Like, the beginning of the main version is at night, but the beginning of the bonus version is in the daytime.
And the area surrounding them was a little bit different looking too. Like the bar too, I noticed the bar like was kind of like tucked in between like a urban like setting. Where the one in the first issue was a little bit more defined, a little bit more standalone, and I just liked the bar in general. What was the inspiration for the name? Do you got a friend you named after it or something?
So again, looking up things, Barzak is the world of the interregnum, something I do mention in the book, and just
that's
literally
awesome.
I was like, well, I can name the bar Zach's Bar and kind of make a thing for Gwynn, like, make it like a little reminder of home.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. So we are at Lost Between Worlds, Hour 1. Congratulations too. I mean, you got 22 days to go and you're almost right at 2,000 out of 2,500. Wow, dude. 54 backers. Let's go. I mean, that has to be a pretty good feeling. You got 22 days to go and you're like right in the home stretch almost.
Yeah, this is like the opposite of the first campaign. Like, the first campaign, I got the 100% funding like within the last 2 or 3 days. And then we just got a bonus push at the end. Seems like there's always that push at the end. We're like, oh man, they made it. There's gonna be a thing. Let's go. I'm down. But yeah, this time we're not funded yet. But like in a week, we're already past 3/4. It's doing awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I thank everyone.
And the last couple of days of the Kickstarters, the beginning and the last are usually the most popping. We have my friend Tara in the chat and Dr. Hino419 in the chat saying, wow, that's so impressive. It really is. And the way, you did the story. So you said this one's going to be a little bit different from the first one. Are we going to see 2 different art styles with this one, or is it just going to be the first style?
For now, it's just going to be the first style, but I do, like I said, want to keep the idea of the second style. I just don't know if I want to do it before the 3rd issue, or maybe kind of have the bonus one be something like an issue behind. So like maybe it'll be concurrent with the issue 3 campaign, something like that. But for now, it's on hold, but I do want to come back to that.
All right. So this is just a little bit of the beginning. So do you want to kind of give us a little bit of a breakdown of the story so far?
Yeah, so, I mean, we talked a lot about it, but basically I wanted to frame the morality questions. I wanted to talk about how, Gwynn now faced with someone who's trying to tell her, like, hey, there's 2 people in this body. You're looking for the other person. She's taken aback, like, is this guy trying to cheat death by finding a loophole? Is he telling me the truth? Like, what do I do in a situation like this? So, she goes home to talk to Dad, but when she comes back, things are just in chaos. So like, what happened? Where does the story go from here? That's kind of where I wanted to leave the story at. Gonna have to read the issue to find out, right?
Yes, sir. We're not trying to spoil too much, but anything you're gonna give us, we definitely want to get. So right here is a look at the cover. This is gonna be the first cover or a variant?
This is the first cover. The variant
is gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you. It's done by the Q Method on Instagram.
So who are we seeing right here? Like, who is this within the story itself?
So his name is Miklon. He's the king of the underworld, which is named after himself. He's going to play a big role in this issue. He's going to drop a lot of facts and lores to Gwynn.
Hey, if this is what this guy looks like, I need to see what the dude from the Nirvana side of things look like, because he has to look just as equally as awesome. Like, this is very, very brutal, like surrounded by skulls. So this is would you say this is kind of the equivalent to like Satan, or like somewhat of like the equivalent to like the leader of the underworld, like in that sense?
Yeah, I would say like he's definitely the leader of the underworld. He gives off a scary vibe, but like when you get to know him, as long as you toe the line, he seems to be a cool, respectable, well-mannered guy. But yeah, just by looks, he definitely seems scary.
Yeah, and you definitely should never judge a book by its cover, but it's hard not to. He's wearing a skull, it looks like part Terminator right there. I'm very freaky.
Yeah, I was laughing when someone told me it was at a con. They were like, "Oh, I like that issue." Like they were talking about the first issue's cover, but that one looked scary. I was just kind of laughing. I was like, "Well, that's kind of the point."
So we are introduced to some new faces then. So it looks like we have a king.
Yeah, King Yama. He's kind of like the secretary to the afterlife. He basically sits in a big office and just tells people, "Oh, you're going to Nirvana, you're going to Miklon." He's inspired by the god of death, King Enma, Yama, depends how you want to call him, from Japan folklore. And if you've seen DBZ,
I was literally about to wait for a spot to kind of like get that in there. I was like, I see the resemblance, man. It's definitely an awesome take on it, though. I'm definitely loving the design. What's up with all the different colors and the way the uniform looks like? What was your inspiration for this design?
So I want to use a lot of red and gold. It kind of represents, because Reapers follow, like I said, Gwynn's father. He's the boss. So if you notice, his house is also a lot of red and gold. It's going to be like his family lines, like color, right? But now, why is Gwynn green and gold? I can't really spoil that, but that's why there's a lot of red and gold. It has to do with how he's kind of the one in charge, and they represent his family colors.
All right, and then we have, of course, the man of the hour, the cover. You kind of already broke this down. Is there anything else you wanted to kind of explain a little bit more about his character design, or what he does that you haven't already touched base upon?
Well, his name is Miklon. It's short for he's inspired from. I'm gonna butcher the name, but it's a Miklon Chektual. So I'm gonna butcher the name. But yeah, that's why I wanted to shorten it. Because another thing is, I wanted to use not the full names of all the gods, but I wanted to kind of make them my own. So his I just shortened. Gwynn is actually based on a male death god named Gwynn Ap Nudd, but with an E at the end of Gwynn. So I just removed the E. And since I'm Hispanic, when you speak about death, you use female pronouns. So that's why I kind of did the gender swap there. But yeah, that's why I changed a lot of the names and I shortened that one. Same thing with Mcteca, who we'll see next.
All right, so... And it looks like a little bit of Day of the Dead inspiration as well. Am I far off on that?
No, you're not. She actually represents that, the Aztec culture. And she actually is the goddess of basically partying, which I kind of riff on and talk about that too. But like her husband, definitely don't mess with her. Just because she likes to party doesn't mean she won't fry you.
Yeah, and I love the design as well. The wings are a really nice touch, and the colors with the headdress as well. Definitely an awesome. Are these wings in the back? Does she have wings, or is that just kind of part of her uniform?
Kind of more like a very elegant cape type of thing. I gotta give credit to Elton. I kind of tell him a lot of what I would look for. I give him a lot of references, and then he kind of just mixes it all up and mixes his own, and then we kind of tweak from there. So yeah, like the cape is all him.
Yeah, I really like that design a lot. And then she's the wife of this guy. How was he able to land such a babe, right?
Like I said, bro, he's very impressive. You don't want to mess with that guy. Who doesn't like a king, a leader, you know?
And let's go ahead and start touching base on the team, and then we'll go into the tiers and kind of start breaking that stuff down a little bit more in depthly.
Do it.
So we have the man of the hour, Edwin himself.
What can I say about me? I've always had dreams of being a writer. Like ever since as a kid, I've been writing fanfics about Ninja Turtles, Mega Man, like anything that I was a fan of. I was so cheesy. I used to write in colored pencils, like, purple's Donatello, orange is Michelangelo.
That is so awesome, though. Like, so is Lost Between Worlds like your first work, or what other stuff have you done before?
This is my first work that I'm like being serious about, but I've written a lot of, like I said, fanfics back in the day, some short stories. Maybe one day we'll see the light on some of those short stories. I have other ideas that like I've kind of began but gave up. You know, again, we could return to some of them, who knows? But this is definitely the first project I've taken seriously.
Yeah, and you definitely could tell you put a lot of heart into it. I love the writing. The writing was strong enough to stand with two different art styles and still be good in both. You know, like, yeah, you still could like read them both separately and be like, this is good. Like, I definitely could appreciate the depth you went into in the research too. They floated on what was it, the river Styx. That was a really nice touch too, I thought.
Yeah, with Karen inclusive. I wanted to like kind of give it enough that if someone knows about it, they can be like, huh, I see what he's doing, but not like overbearing where it doesn't like completely take over the story. You know, people can still enjoy it. The design of
Charon. Did I say that right?
Yeah, no, I think it's Karen. Karen? It's kind of pronounced like Charon.
I want to speak to the manager of the underworld right now.
What's funny is I actually used to pronounce that too, but I was like, yo, I've done so much research, I should actually look up how to pronounce these things. But I don't think I'm ever gonna say Mick Wong's full name correctly. I just can't.
But definitely an interesting design as well. In issue 1 especially, like just how detailed he was. He looked so brutal.
Yeah, he was awesome. Again, it was one of those things where I told Elton what I want, but like what he came back for his character design was like even better than I could have imagined. It was awesome.
So now we are on to your inker, cover design, and character designs.
Elton, yeah, he's amazing. He does, like I said, a lot of the character designs. He drew the whole main issue. He drew the second issue. The guy's awesome. What can I say? The team is mainly like from all over the world. He comes from Brazil. So does Diego, the colorist, who we're about to get on next. But they both have done like a lot of work on their own stuff.
Yeah, for Marvel and DC, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Diego, he's currently doing like, I think, a Batman and a Hulk run. He did like a late Batman run. Like, yeah, look up his stuff on Instagram. He's awesome. The one bad thing about that is that like sometimes he's like, man, I won't be able to get to the pages for like a week or two. And I get it. And it's worth the wait. But yeah, that's the one thing.
Well, I would almost imagine like for that, because I heard about Marvel and DC a bit and their expectations, you almost probably have to set like a higher priority on them to get them done first, which I'm sure that probably in the end sucks, but like you have to do what you have to do. We have issues in the chat saying Edwin is the best there is. This book is amazing. I have to agree on that one. Thank you. We have issues. We appreciate you
guys.
Yeah, if you guys are not checking them out, be sure to give them a subscription and turn on notifications. Anthony and Steven are such amazing hosts, and Deathless is going to be such an amazing read as well.
Dude, they're awesome people. I met them at a con in St. I'm blanking out right now on the name. Southwest Florida Comic Con. There you go. And yeah, it was a great time, dude. We were there for the whole day. Afterwards, we got a bite to eat, a few drinks, and yeah, they're awesome people. Awesome.
That's so. I'm jealous. Like, I want to bro out with you guys. I feel like we would be like the four horsemen of indie comics. Let's go,
dude. I'm down. Right before.
So we are heading on to your letterer and logo designs. Reed's great, man. He does a lot of work for the indie community. I always see all the time like a new project coming up that his name's attached to it, and yeah, that guy, he's on the grind. He works hard. And then we have, last but not least, Mac, the character designs.
Yeah, so for that issue, gotta give him credit because of course he helped me design Gwynn. But like I said, he did the bonus version for issue 1. I definitely would love to have him back, but for issue 2, we haven't really worked together for that issue. But yeah, I would love to have him back. And as for the Gwynn design, like, you know, again, props to him. Like, she's the main character. He helped me bring her to life.
So actually, you do have some previews here hidden at the bottom for us. Let's go ahead and wow. So this is definitely like you explained it, and I was like, okay, we'll see, and then boom, baby, covered in blood. Yeah, oh my god. And to give you an idea, I don't think I've seen blood in the last one. There was a car accident, but it wasn't graphic and gory. This one is like a 180.
Yeah, again, story is for me most important thing, but one thing that I was kind of worried about, I was like, man, the first issue has no action. I know there's a lot of people who like, they love action in their comics, But yeah, we're gonna get to it, and yeah, here we go. We got our first bit.
Yeah, right off the end. So I mean, was it harder for you to write that? Like, I guess like the pacing and stuff. Like, how was that for you? Like transitioning from how you went like about creating the first issue to this one.
The pacing was fine because I plan ahead a lot. Like issue 3 is already written. Issue 4, I'm gonna probably start bullet pointing what I want the story to be for that one. Probably, I don't know, as soon as issue 2 is already like done in the books, like, all right, we're off to print, we can start planning issue 4. Because issue 3 is written, I just gotta now communicate with the team on that one. So it was just kind of like, I just really plan ahead, I edit a lot. In terms of the action, I know what I want because, like, man, I'm a huge gamer. I watch a lot of anime. I love action. So, like, it's a big inspiration, you know? So in my head, I can see it. Writing it sometimes is a bit difficult. But I think the hardest part is trying to communicate it to the artist, like, how exactly you want it. And sometimes, you know, it's a bit of, like, meeting halfway. Like, you know, like, it's not a movie. we're making still images here. So, yeah, it's, like, a lot of, like, thinking about it like that, like almost like a director in a way. Like making comics is almost like a director. You really have to plan out what's going to be in every shot.
We have issues saying this is great, guys. I love the show. Thank you so much. I always appreciate it. And then Dr. Hino 419 saying I'm gonna like this. I definitely think you are. Like the tone of it is just complete 180. I love in here you see her with her trusty dagger as well. And yeah, the bartender is not faring too hot. So
yeah, good for him.
Here, and then right here is you got a name for it? The Soul Radar?
Banshee.
The Banshee.
Yeah.
So we
Banshee.
Gwen with her trusty Banshee, but things are not faring hot as it looks like door handle was locked.
Yeah, so like right there, like I said, she kind of came back. She's like, what the hell is going on here? Where's Dospe? So she's using the Banshee to find him. And then, yeah, it's like, oh, he locked himself here. Does this guy really think this is going to work? And then, yeah, we skip a couple pages to the next part here. As in terms of story.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I was going to say, as you guys can see, just like the detail in the art is just so, like, this is, like the one in the first issue was good, but this is definitely, you could tell there was like improvements, there was learning that, you know, in the process as well, because just like the depth of the coloring and everything just seems like it's improved like a lot.
Yeah, Diego, he does amazing work. And I think it's also Elton, like he just draws intricate backgrounds. I struggle with kind of describing the background to him. So I kind of just show him references and I tell him like, just make everything like elegant and fancy looking. And yeah, he does that real good.
Oh yeah, he captured it without a doubt. So this is this her first introduction to King Yaman then?
Yep, this is. So in the first issue, we see her traveling through the the Styx River in here. And we see her kind of at the base of this place when she's saying bye to the band. But we never see the inside. So in this issue, we're seeing the inside now.
And that was funny, too, because when the band was saying goodbye, the one dude wanted to get her number. And they're all like, for real, dude? Like,
yeah, like, come on, dude, she's dead. Well, actually, we're dead now.
I mean, to be honest, though, I probably would have made the same pass. What's up, Gwynn?
I've heard her say the same. I can't blame him.
But yeah, the detail in this is just so gorgeous and phenomenal. Ooh, it looks like it gets a lot more gorier in the later pages to come. Holy crap.
Yeah, I was like, yo, we're going in on the action this time, for real.
Decapitation. Like, we start with the hail of it looked like just blood all over the wall and just go straight to decapitating.
Not just that, but I love how she kicks the stool into the dude's head and crushes it. Like, yeah, that was awesome.
Hey, we got Cash in the chat as well. Keep killing it, Cody. Glad to see you live. I appreciate that. And welcome on in, Random American as well. And it looks like, what, a shotgun blast to the head? Or is that a chair getting smashed into the head?
Yeah. She kicks the stool into the
So she has, like, super strength?
Yeah, basically. I kind of, I don't want to go into, like, superpowers, but she obviously does have super strength. And that's a slight spoiler for, like, future stuff. There's going to be other Reapers who are going to have scythes. But I want their scythes to all be unique. So
is that like a Soul Eater? I'm picking up Soul Eater vibes.
I haven't seen that. I think you might be the second person to tell me that. A bit of an inspiration was Bleach, I will say, because Bleach is like, you know, the Soul Reapers they don't ever call themselves Grim Reapers, but that's kind of like what they are. They help souls pass on to the afterlife. So I would say that was a bit of an inspiration. If Soul Eater, right? You said it's called Soul Eater?
Yeah.
Does that have like unique scythes that characters use also?
Yeah. I would say the weapons are definitely unique.
But are they all scythes or no?
I can't remember. I watched that so long ago. I just remember there's a site. Yeah. I do have to say
is they're all going to be unique sites. Like, I don't want to spoil how, but you'll see. For example, how Gwynn's has a chain at the end. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to have something unique about them.
I do have to say, like, this definitely, like, if the other one was like, I don't know, like PG, like this one is definitely teen. I gotta say, it's for me though, like I'm into like gore and stuff, so like this is like definitely the type of stuff I want to see. Like when I was reading it, like I was like, okay, like you know, I have no idea what direction he's going in. Very like I guess like poetic type of killing, like with the dagger, like easing him to death. I was like, this, you know, no blood, and then like boom.
Yeah, right. Total 180 almost. Like I said, it's a slow burn. It's going to be 25 issues in total because we're doing a whole 24-hour thing for the story. So can't blow your load in the first issue, right?
So
you gotta
you're doing a 24-hour idea that's going to be split into 25 issues. So that's going to be an hour for each issue?
Basically, yeah. So the first issue is called Hour Zero because it takes place over several hours. And the whole 24-hour gimmick hasn't started, but it does start in this issue.
So how, like, man, I got so many questions. Like, where are we going to see like some sort of like multiverse? Like, how are you going to be able to contain like so many stories within like an hour each? Like, does she like slow down time, or is she going to different realms? Are you able to talk about it at all?
It's going to be a continuous story. So it's not going to be like, you know, this week's adventures, one thing, this tomorrow's or the next issues is going to be something else. It's going to flow together. And I'm not saying I'm going to reveal characters every single issue, but again, there's a bit of slow burn. So some characters will be introduced in issue 2, some more in 3, some more 4, yada, yada. And I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, the Dospe guy, he's going to play a big thing in this series.
So how are you able to keep your pacing? It just seems like for me, having that sort of restraint would be like so hard to have good pacing, because you want to keep, you know, your readers coming back and like I guess like what are you doing to kind of ensure that happens with like each issue representing an hour?
It's all about the story for me. I feel like I just got to make the story, the action, the characters good enough to want to make people come back. And I believe in it like enough that I think people will like it and will come back to it. And in my head, as I write it, I just kind of play it out, like the events. I'm like, realistically, would this take place in an hour? Like, let's think about this here. You know, I'm not trying to be like 100% realistic, but yeah, we can't have like 20 events happen in one issue and be like, yo, that was an hour? Come on. So like, I don't want to do stop time or any of that, but I do play it out in my head kind of like, is this realistically an hour? And yeah, we kind of go from there.
No, and I think there's a lot of different things you could do to kind of keep that like transitioning just going smoothly the entire time. I really love the concept. I appreciate you dropping so much exclusive. I have that knack to dig in deep enough.
I love revealing things, like love Easter eggs, trivia, references. So like I'm an open book on that. Like I've thrown in a lot actually into this. Like one that I'll kind of, it's not the first time I've said this, but I like to throw in a title of a song into every issue. So I don't know if you caught what the first one might have been in the first issue, but I put one in the second one. I plan to put one in the third one. It's just gonna kind of be one of those things like, hey, did you guys catch every single title I dropped in every issue? You know, things like that. I love.
So is it gonna be something where you could listen to listen to the song and kind of get a good vibe, or is it just a random song?
It's more like it's something that fits the dialogue of what's going on. Like, for example, I'll just spoil the first issue. The first issue is when they're talking, Dospe and Gwynn. When Dospe questions her like, oh, so you've had a long day, right? Like a hard day's night of collecting souls and hard day's night Beatles. So yeah, I went.
Is that a tribute to the Beatles cover?
And yeah, that also kind of played with that. And again, with the Beatles thing, I just love meta things that connect. The Come Together album, which is, here, I'll just show you real quick. This bonus issue right here is based off the Come Together album. There's a big conspiracy theory about like Paul McCartney, how he's supposedly dead, and they got like a stand-in to be him. And the rest of the band, 3 surviving members, left clues in all of their songs, like in the lyrics,
play them backwards and stuff,
covers, things like that. And so like the I call it the Come Together album, the Abbey Road album. Sorry, the Abbey Road album. They're kind of referencing a funeral procession where one of them is dressed kind of like an undertaker, one of them is dressed like a priest, one of them is dressed like the guy who buries them, and then Paul, the supposed dead one, is barefoot like a corpse. He even has a cigarette in his hand, kind of representing things like that. I love when like people just throw in things like that. So I just found it fitting to, you know, a story about death. Like, why not have that? Especially because I love the Beatles. I just love referencing things I love.
And I think it's a nice add-on too for those readers that you will eventually get that are going to want to go back and look for that Easter egg. I think it's kind of a smart thing to do. Like, why song choices though? Just because it was easier to work into dialogue, or was there any other reasoning behind it?
It's kind of also just fits the theme of music I got going in the book. Again, I'm just a fan of music, but I'm also a fan of like JoJo's. And so in JoJo's, for example, they have like the stands or characters that are named after bands and artists and songs. So I kind of want to have a little bit of that in there. And that's why her weapon is named Grateful Dead. Some other sites will be named after certain things. And then, yeah, I just want to throw in like titles of songs as kind of like a little Easter egg as well, not just use band names and things.
So what type of genres are we going to see? Any death metal, any like hip hop influences, or like do you?
I'm going to see everything. I am a fan of like basically everything. Country's kind of my least favorite, but even that, there's some songs I like. So I don't know if I'll reference country, but I
maybe country will get like a janitor job in it or something. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Might throw them a little bone there. But the alternate cover of the issue 1, this one, again, not really referencing something specific, but I wanted
to. Looks gorgeous though.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to go off of like those like 70s, 80s like artwork that you would see on metal like albums and stuff. So yeah, like I kind of went for something like that. You can even see, you can't really see it if I show it to the camera probably, but like all the way up here, you can even see like Q-Sip kind of howling at the moon. Not really sure if you see it.
Yeah,
like,
the silhouette.
Yeah, like it's yeah, I just like to throw in a lot of things in the background and reference things.
No, that dude, I'm gonna have to. Do you have physicals for sale?
Yeah, we have them on my website, and whenever I'm at things. I've actually been kind of debating like the bonus version. It was backer exclusive for now. Don't know if I want to sell them on my website or maybe just cons exclusively. I guess we got to ask the people, see what they want. But for now, backers are the only ones that have it.
No, okay. And that's a smart thing to do too, because you could keep doing tiers where you throw that in as like a backer exclusive and kind of keep that going. I think that's kind of smart.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I see it for that potential, like promoting potential. But at the same time, like, I don't want to keep something awesome out of people's hands. So it's a constant debate there.
So let's go ahead and start breaking down into your backer bonuses as well. So it looks like you had an alternate cover done for issue 2. So this is without color, but this is kind of an idea of what we're looking at. And it looks like husband and wife in a nice little dance of death, maybe, or...
Well, since they have that Hispanic influence, I wanted them to, you know, do the Hispanic dance, and they're in a Gothic ballroom kind of setting. Because again, it's all about the elegance, the regal, and yeah, just showing their love.
It's gorgeous too.
Thank you. God, I'll pass on all these compliments to Elton. One thing about being a writer is, of course, people love the story. I mean, that's kind of why you're at least still there reading or watching whatever it is. But the art is always what catches people's attention. And as a writer, people always compliment like, oh, this looks amazing. Yeah. It's like, yeah, thank you. I'll pass that compliment along.
We have Dr. Hino in chat saying, I know the whole music stuff totally different, definitely understandable. And I probably mispronounced this. Nabuo Uematsu. Oh my God, I can kill that. I think it's a Final Fantasy musical director though.
Uematsu,
yeah. It is, isn't it?
Final Fantasy stuff. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Dude, I'm a huge Final Fantasy freak. I have a Cloud stand up right in the back. The little action figures.
I like to do puzzles, and once they're done, I hang them up because I feel like it's more interactive than just getting a poster or whatever. And yeah, I have a badass Final Fantasy 7 one up above my TV.
Yeah, I actually had Genova tattooed right here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but Final Fantasy was the last game I actually played with my father before he passed. So it was like one of those games where hot take. I don't think Final Fantasy VII is the best. I do believe that it introduced 3D modeling to the Final Fantasy realm, like undeniable. But I think like Final Fantasy 6, 9, and Tactics for me are the best.
I agree with you that it's not the best. For me, I think
You like 8, don't you?
no, I think I do agree that 9 is probably the best. For me personally, I will always say though 7 is my favorite because that's the one
Yeah.
that it blew everyone's mind. At least
For the first introduction, I think, right?
Well, the first what?
It was my first introduction to the Final Fantasy series.
You know what? For me, yeah, I think it was also. I was gonna say like first RPG, no, but first introduction to Final Fantasy period, yeah. And just I don't think I had ever seen a PlayStation game at the time. So when a neighbor of mine was like, "Yo, come over," and he's playing that, I was just like,
God, dude, it looks so good.
What is this? And then when I remember he had to go eat dinner, and he was like, "Oh, if you want to play," I was just like, like this is amazing. Like, dude,
I still remember
awesome.
It was like a rainy night, and my dad brought home. It was the PlayStation right from launch. Had a racing wheel. Had what was it? Volley car racing Need for Speed. I'm showing my age here. In Final Fantasy VII in the wrapper. And I remember back then I wasn't like I was like young. You know, I was probably like 8. So like I had an idea of how to play, but like I would be like, "Hey Dad, I need you to get through this part for me because I have no idea." Like that was like my game with him, passing the controller. And now I get to have that with my kids. They don't really play Final Fantasy too much. They're, you know, more like Kirby, Switch games like Mario Kart and stuff. But like, "Hey Dad, we're stuck." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is I've been waiting for my moment. This is it."
You know what's funny about that? My parents, like, sometimes they were gamers too. Some Sundays when they were off, they used to literally like tell me like, "Hey, you can watch cartoons in our room or like watch us play video games, but we're gonna play video games." And it's like, okay, whatever. And so they would be playing video games, and sometimes they would be like, "Hey, Edwin, come here, beat this for us. We can't beat it." And I would be like, "Oh man, awesome! Like, I'm so good at video games."
Feeling like a badass.
To them. Yeah, right. And it wasn't until like much later where I was like, you know, I wonder if they just did that to like obviously boost my confidence, or like this part is really annoying. Let's get the kid to do it.
Yeah. So man, it's like one of those things. Like my daughter, me and her, I have a really competitive edge, and when we do Mario Kart, I'll let her win every now and then. But I can't like, I'm not a big person like always letting them win, like because they gotta have defeat. That I'm a big believer in that. They gotta have a taste of defeat. And she would get so upset.
And you only get good when you lose.
Yes. And dude, she in the beginning she'd cry, she'd get upset. But we do family game night because my sister lives in Alaska, my mom lives in Michigan, and then we live in Ohio. So we do family game night, and she's whipping all their asses, smoking them. I have to be like, "Hey, lose this round, or they're not going to want to keep playing with you."
Yeah. I have a lot of friends who joke around about that with me. They're like, "Yo, you live up to your name. Like Edwin wins. Like, why do you always win?"
Let's pull the tangent back a little bit though. Let's get back into the Kickstarter. So right here is another cover. It looks like
that's actually gonna be a bonus to like basically everyone who gets the issue. I thought of like, well, if I'm not gonna do, you know, like a whole other bonus issue, let's still make this sort of unique. So I was like, I'm going to commission a few pieces to just throw them in the back of issue 2 and show Gwynn in like a few different art styles or other characters. So I just put that one up as a preview, but I posted some others on Twitter. But yeah, like someone did a 3D render, someone did like a different version of Gwynn and even Q-Sith. So like, yeah, that's a bonus there.
We have Cash in chat saying, "Whoa, she's pretty." And I got to agree. I really think the detail, you guys were able to like really like give a badass character that still maintained, you know, that sense of, I guess, being like feminine and being like beautiful but deadly. You know, I think you guys really killed that. Yeah,
see, like I'm not against like all the sexy art and stuff. Like, I'm, you know, do you, if that's what you want, that fits your character, if that's what you like, go for it. But I kind of wanted to approach again more of like that elegant feel. Like, she's classy but deadly, like you said. She's beautiful.
No wife. I think she has some waifu material though. I definitely could see a body pillow.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. There's going to be a Rule 34 at some point, if not already.
Cash saying them thighs can definitely destroy her enemies. I have to agree.
Yeah, I got to thank Brendan Albetsky for that one. He can be found on Twitter. He has a comic of himself, Maru Kiri Destroys the Moon. He's pretty cool. It
almost gives me like a jack-o'-lantern like kind of vibe in the middle of the scythe here with like the skull. I know that's not a pumpkin, but it almost looks like kind of like a pumpkin.
It does, you're right. I mean, that's what I like about seeing other people's style and like takes on the character. Like, do what you want. Let's see what you come up with. And I think this one came out beautiful.
All right, so there's always stretch goals. You have a few ideas you can begin to work on if we manage to smash that goal. So are you able to kind of leak what you're looking at for the next smash goal, or is that still yet to be determined?
Well, I definitely want to try and get into like the merch game kind of. So I don't know what kind of merch, but that's a potential stretch goal. If stickers we like really do good. Yeah, I hear stickers really do well, so I might look into that. Shirts, who knows? But definitely merch is an idea.
I definitely could see this right here as a print or like as a poster. Definitely would love to see that. You know, like a lot of card stuffers too, where you put the book and then you stuff it in the back behind the book. That would be phenomenal. This looks like something that would be just gorgeous to hang up on the wall.
I did that with
this as well.
Issue. I put some prints in with the physicals for backers, but it was just of the cover. But like I said, now that we have more art, more commission pieces, yeah, I do want to throw in more unique things.
All right, and then this is just a special thank you for everyone supporting the campaign. So let's go ahead and start breaking down your tiers. I pledged the early bird tier, so what we'll do is we'll go through right at the one, and then I'll scroll back up so you can talk about the early bird tier. So we are at the you can pledge just because you because you believe it tier.
Get my eternal gratitude on that one.
Yeah, hey, sometimes you'd be surprised. Sometimes people do that. I would say at least get the book out of it though. It's definitely worth getting the book. For $5, just what, $4 more bucks, you're getting the digital copy out of it. So
yeah,
we got the
$5 is the price of a coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd be drinking a couple of those a day,
Yeah,
we have the ketchup.
I think this like substitute energy drinks, like all healthy and stuff.
I'm trying to get healthy. I'm almost there. I've been successfully cutting out the energy drink, but man, I'd be drinking like 2 pots of coffee a day.
I wasn't like a really big guy, but I was kind of overweight. And that game Ring Fit, dude, I am a living example of it working. I lost like over 50, I think actually 60 pounds on that game.
Wow, congratulations.
It works. It's fun.
Let's go. We have the digital catch-up tier, which is still a really outstanding price. $10 for digital copy of issue 1 and issue 2.
So yeah, right?
Yeah, that's an awesome one as well. You got 12 backers on that, so a lot of people are seeing the value in that as well. You need to find your Ring Fit. It was a lot of fun. What's that on? Is that like a Switch thing, or is that like a
Switch thing? Yeah, I actually have the ring right next to me. Basically, like you put your Joy-Con here, and then you put a Joy-Con in this strap by your thigh. So you're like running through the levels. You squeeze and pull.
I gotcha.
Squats, and you use these exercises to battle the enemies. It's actually really fun, and you will be tired after a while.
Maybe I need to put my kids on that.
The reps on it. It's awesome.
Yeah, maybe I need to put my kids on that, because when I went to go double check them last time, they were still up and awake. I'm like, you tricked me.
It'll wear them out. They'll have fun. It will wear them out.
So we have then the early bird tier, which is up here. Pledge $8 or more. How long do you have? That's within the first 48 hours, so that's already gone, right?
Yeah, you missed.
You snooze, you lose, though. You snooze, you lose.
But hey, the regular price is still good.
Yeah, yes, sir. Real quick before we get into that, Dr. Hino 4119 wants to know how long you've been working on this.
Oof, like the whole series was probably conceived, like I said, during the peak pandemic days, 2019. But I started writing it like late 2019, yeah. And issue 1 came out last year, November. So there was a good year of making issue 1, and maybe a half a year before that of writing it. But we've got the workflow down now. Like issue 2, I finished writing it. I think it was, finished writing it like in February, March. And no, I'm lying. January. It was January. And then since then, we've been working on issue 2. So there you
go. So how much of the original team is involved on this? Would you say pretty much the whole entire team besides the one?
Yeah, the whole team is back except for Mac. He did the bonus version of the first issue, but we'd love to have him back on board.
Hey, and who knows? Sometimes in the future, maybe that could definitely happen.
Exactly.
But it looks like your physical tier, if you weren't an early bird, is just $2 more, $10. It's still an outstanding price for a physical copy. And then the alternate tier is the same price as well. So what drove you to want to keep them at the same price?
I feel like why make it extra? It's kind of just giving you the choice. Like, which art do you like better? Are you a collector? You can have both if you like. But yeah, it's just about choice. Choice is always a good thing.
That's definitely respectable too, because there are people out there who would price their variants higher to kind of get that extra buck or two. So I think that's definitely respectful that you want to keep the same price, because someone might, you know, I am a big person when I go to the comic store. I am going to get the variant every single time as opposed to getting the original one. That's just because that's who I am. And anytime I can get a variant during a Kickstarter, I definitely try to aim for that too. We have Dr. Hino 419.
For me, it was, again, about choice. I see the logic if sometimes, you know, you pay for one cover, I don't know, let's just say like 120, but then the variant, like the artist charge you 200, so you're like, whoa, maybe I should charge extra for that. I guess I see the logic there, but to me, I feel like you're still getting the same book. Like, my opinion, just charge the same.
We have Dr. Hino 419 in chat saying, good deal. I'm glad you're finding success with this. I am too. Within literally, what, 8 days, you were able to get 80% of the campaign funded? Yeah,
it's a big
remarkable
boost of confidence. Like I said, well, the first issue I can't really say anything because I just launched it early. I almost started from scratch. I'm happy we made it, but yeah, I should have done the rounds, you know, like have that pre-launch longer. But again, happy we made it. This one, it's now got at least somewhat of a following. I can't be happier.
Now it looks like we are at the pledge 15 or more, the all-in tier. So you get a digital, physical. Of Lost Between Worlds issue 2, hour 1.
Yep.
And then you offer.
That's a good value. Actually, no, it is a good value because you're getting the digital and the physical, and the shipping. The shipping's barely anything. I feel like I'm actually even not taking a hit because my publisher works really well with me in shipping prices, but I feel like we're giving a lot of people value in shipping as opposed to a lot of others. Especially
like this, the pledge 15 or more, you can get the all-in alternate covers for the same exact price. I think that's so cool that you're doing that.
Yeah.
The catch-up tier, $5 more, you're able to get the physical copy of 1 and 2. And then we have the physical deluxe. You get the physical for each. Physical copy of issue 1, hour 1, or excuse me, issue 2, hour 1, and then the one with the alternate cover as well. So I mean, your prices are basically you're basically making it as humanly cheap as possible. It feels like that's awesome.
Yeah, I know how it is. You know, just not being able to afford comics, like, because let's be honest, indie comics can be expensive. So I want to try and keep it as minimum as possible. Like I know things can be expensive and things are hard these days.
And we got the pledge 30 or more, and that's the all-in catch-up tier. Get a digital and physical copy of Lost Between Worlds issue 2, hour 1, and issue 1, hour 0. And you're just basically getting both digital and physical of both. We have the pledge 75 or more, become a zombie tier. Get a digital and physical copy, and also have your likeness featured in future issues as a zombie. So we're gonna have zombies eventually coming.
Yeah, that's actually what Gwynn was killing in that the preview page. It's not easy to tell, I guess, because it's not colored.
Yeah.
The first issue we had the same thing, but not zombies. It was just cameos. And I basically said that like we would work together, and you can kind of not necessarily be anything, but like, you know, we talk about what your cameo would want to be. And I've talked with everyone. We kind of got all of it planned. Some people will appear in issue 2, some are in 3. But I wanted to kind of scale it back. I was like, all right, let's not do everything again. Not because it was a problem, but I was like, I can't do this every time. It's going to make things way too complicated. So I was like, let's do zombies, just zombies this time.
It's so awesome, too. I mean, you could do a lot. You could even do a close-up group and knock out like 5 of them at once. You know, I'm not exactly sure. I'm just saying the ability to what you're able to do, you're able just to do it like with such awesome success.
That black page up there, every single zombie in there is a cameo.
Dude, that's so cool. We have issues saying can't wait to be a zombie. Steve and I are both going to be zombies. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to have to definitely try to get my zombie in there too. Maybe I'm able to manage that just sounds so cool. And especially if we have issues
together. Steve and Anthony, they got to be together in their scene.
You know, maybe I got to try to get in there too. We got to have the apocalypse of the podcasters. Let's go.
Yeah, like I thought it'd be a cool idea, like, oh man, like besides just the cameo thing, like would it be cool to like be like decapitated by Gwynn? Like that would be awesome.
Yeah. Man, that's so cool. And you had 7 backers. Congratulations, dude. Were you planning on it like doing so well?
Hey, well, compared to the first one, yeah, like a lot of people did back the cameo tier. What's kind of funny is some people who backed the cameo one in the first one picked the zombie one again, and I'm like, so, but you're already in the book. So like, okay, we'll still zombify you, make you look different, or use like some old look of yours or something.
So we have the pledge 150 tier, and this is the comic book store tier.
Yeah,
You'll
I thought
get
trying something new with these tiers. So far, no one's taken them yet, but like I haven't really promoted them as much as I should. But yeah, just a new idea, see how it would work.
And the fact you're getting 20 books, 10 of each issue for the cost of 15. That's pretty awesome. 5 free issues, definitely a really good tier as well. And then we have the Comic Book Store Deluxe, which is going to, for those who own a shop and want a few copies, this will give you 30 books, 10 of each cover, plus 10 more for issue 2 with the alternate cover. So you still get the 5 free issues with that. Pretty awesome deal as well. And then the ultimate tier, which gives you 40 with 10 of each. The default cover, 10 of each with the alternate cover. So you get 30, and that means you get 10 free issues. So definitely awesome for those retail stores out there. Even if you don't see anyone take advantage of it, who knows? You might get that person on the end of the day. It costs you 0 to have this ad. And you never know. Someone definitely might bite on it at any point, you know?
Yeah, like I said, I haven't promoted as much because on Instagram, I know I have followers who run comic book shops. Can't guarantee they will back the tier, but I should definitely put out the word on Instagram more just to see, you know?
Well, that was everything in the Kickstarter. So let's go ahead and start beginning the wrap up of what was such an amazing episode. I really love this interview. I had such a good time with you. And, you know, I try to do my best not to read any of the source material until the day of. And that's why, because I was so surprised. It's still like so fresh in my head. Like the twist, like I wasn't seeing the twist in it. And seeing just the way it evolved into issue number 2 is just such a remarkable feat. So I just really quickly want to touch base upon what did you do different with your first Kickstarter to this Kickstarter that drove your success? Because you said you killed it like rather quickly, and then your first one you really didn't do nearly as hot.
I think it's just I'm a big believer of the work shows itself. I think it's that, like, a lot of people see the art, a lot of people finally read the first issue and they must be saying, hey, this is pretty cool, let's check out the second one, spreading the word a little. Don't ever underestimate word of mouth. It's a big thing. Again, I've also been to 2 conventions so far. Who knows if they've been spreading the word. Hopefully. I actually had a local college buy 250 issues to give away free, basically, at a comic event they were going. So that was a pretty good buzz and exposure there. It's all about word of mouth. I haven't created any ads or anything like that. I've just been posting on social media every day. So I guess I'll do something right?
Yeah, no, word of mouth is definitely one of the most powerful things, because, I mean, you could pay for an ad, but if someone knows you, that amount of respect that comes with that, like, you know what I mean? Like when you bring up Anthony and Steven, I know them. So like, if you were like, hey, or I know you, if you're like, get their book, you know, Death List issue 1, I'm like, okay, well, I respect your opinion. I definitely should probably get that. Like you can't put a price on that. Like, you know, you can't put a price on people wanting to promote you. You can't put a price on people wanting to have you on their show. I seen you were on their show. That was such an awesome episode as well. Like, I'm jealous you guys live so close. Like, I almost want to move down to Florida so I could be a part of this broship. One of these days.
We'll make it over there to a con in Ohio, right? You're in Ohio?
Yeah, yes, sir.
We'll make it to a con one day over there, or you come visit a con over here.
We got Dr. Hino saying such an awesome live stream, Cash saying awesome, and she enjoyed it, and Tara as well. So let me ask you this, one of my favorite questions that I like asking every interview. I know you're already probably prepared for it, but for anyone out there who's kind of just struggling, idea bankruptcy, they have no idea how to even begin what they want to start. What word of advice would you give them to kind of help them push through their struggle and kind of get to the end of the tunnel?
If it's struggling to form the idea, period, I say just watch anything, read anything, play anything. Like, anything triggers an idea, a conversation you might have, just whatever it is. And once you have that idea, write it down, because you might forget it and you'd be like, damn, that was a good idea, or you never know what could have happened. And then once you have that idea, just do it. Just write it, make it happen, put your name out there. That's the biggest marketing tool you have, just putting yourself out there. Because once you put yourself out there, people can then know who you are, see your work. You communicate with others, support their work. They will want to communicate and support you right back. It's all about just putting yourself out there. And it can be scary sometimes to get over that hump, but that's the way you're going to do it. You're going to, like, you might end up in regret because you never tried. So it's all about just trying and putting yourself out there.
And I gotta say, you do like a phenomenal job. I had like, I would say your circle of indie creators was probably much larger than mine, and you were able to like get in those circles fast and like get involved with those people. And I see you guys like always like supporting one another. I'm like, damn, dude, this indie community really is just, there's nothing like it. Like, I've been in the Twitch community for like 6 years, and I can tell you how supportive the indie comic community is just worlds difference. You guys are out there supporting each other's campaigns to help each other get their dreams chased and funded, and it's so remarkable to see like the love and the strength that everyone has for each other, for real. Like, I definitely,
we're all in the trenches. We all know how it is, how hard it is to just get people to view your things, to be wanting to put money in it. So scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. We all gotta look out for each other, and don't underestimate yourself. Like, getting into the community, I see you growing quick. Like, everyone's warming up to you, your channel, your stuff. Like, everyone loves you.
You know, I don't want to toot my own horn, but you know, we're getting there. We're getting there.
You're in there. You're in there.
My thing is basically just trying to take my days for self-care. You know, it's easy for me to get burned out, especially trying to juggle the Twitch thing, juggling. You know, we were talking off and on all day. I was doing the dad thing. You know, I was like, hey, I'm gonna have to get to this later. Thankfully, you appreciated that. I always love when someone can appreciate the value of my time with my kids, because I'm always a dad first and a podcaster, you know, second. But yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I'd love to get you on again, just even just to talk, man. It was such a fun conversation. I think you have a lot to bring to the table. Guys, once again, this is Edwin, and we are talking about his latest indie comic Kickstarter, Lost Between Worlds. Here is the link in the chat. Be sure to back this. Guys, we appreciate you stopping in. This was such a fantastic Monday.
Check it out, one last little thing. I got this.
Oh, that's the clay model, right?
Yeah, I got this made as like a little celebration gift to myself.
So awesome, dude.
It's made by on Instagram, Shadow Rabbit Lewis. He's dope. He does great work. I was like, man, I have to celebrate the milestone. So maybe with the second issue, I might get another one done. Who knows of who? But yeah, this thing rocks.
Yeah, no, dude. Dude, you could. Karen would be a phenomenal one, I think. I love Karen's design.
I'm thinking Kusif. Like, Kusif would be really cool because of like the leaf details on him, like rock or something. That would be pretty dope.
But yeah, with that being said, guys, we are going to be hopping off on this Monday night. You guys know what to do. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future indie comic interviews, because we are dropping them almost daily. But most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.